Reading today. I missed yesterday. I didn't want to talk what it was. I had to let my voice relax. Chapter 29 of Isaiah. Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Add ye year to year, let them kill sacrifices. The city of Ariel is Mecca. Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Add ye year to year, let them kill sacrifices. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be unto me as Ariel. And I will camp against thee round about, and will lay siege against thee with a mount, and I will raise forts against thee. And thou shalt be brought down, and shalt speak out of the ground, and thy speech shall be low out of the dust, and thy voice shall be as one that hath a familiar spirit out of the ground, and thy speech shall whisper out of the dust. Moreover, the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small dust, and the multitude of the terrible ones shall be a chaff that passeth away. Yea, it shall be an instant suddenly. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And the multitude of all the nations that first against Ariel, even all that fight against her, and her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. It shall even be as when a hungry man dreameth, and behold he eateth, but he awaketh, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreameth, and behold he drinketh, but he awaketh, and behold he is faint, and his soul hath appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion. Stay yourselves, and wonder, cry ye out, and cry, they are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. I guess we didn't understand me? Stay silent, fucker. Excuse me before we start in on this. I'm not shut up here. Remove him. I'm not kidding. Are you dumb? So before I continue any further, you retard, get him out of there. I'm not kidding at all. Before I continue, David. It's a bad choice, stupid fucker. Really? Stay silent, moron. Oh, here they go. I promise you. Right here on this section right there with the side note. Now, fucker. You see it? Inspect. So, before I continue, remove the stupid fucker. Close my eyes on you, bitch. You're not welcome. Goodbye. Goodbye. I bid you adieu. You're excused. So, not arguing. I am not arguing. Okay. Take this opportunity It is sealed? And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Wherefore the Lord said, Forasmuch as his people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of the wise men shall perish, and the understanding of the prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, Who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Surely your training of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, He made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, He had no understanding? Is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest? And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Therefore thus said the Lord, who redeemed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the God of Israel. They also that erred in spirit shall come into understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. They also that erred. Go straight to the White House. I took it to the White House. All right, George. The James River Company to Edmund Randolph, Mount Vernon, July 30th, 1785. Dear Sir, although it is not my intention to derive any pecuniary advantage from the generous vote of the Assembly of the State, consequent of its gratuitous gift of 50 shares in each of the navigations of the rivers Potomac and James, yet as I consider these undertakings as of vast political and commercial importance to the states on the Atlantic, especially to those nearest the center of the Union and adjoining the Western Territory, I can let no act of mine impede the progress of the work. I have therefore come to the determination to hold the shares which the Treasurer was directed to subscribe on my account in trust for the use and benefit of the public, unless I shall be able to discover before the meeting of the Assembly that it would be agreeable to it to have the product of the sales arising from these shares applied as a fund on which to establish 2 charity schools, one on each river, for the education and support of the children of the poor and indigent of this country who cannot afford to give it, particularly the children of those men of this description who have fallen in defense of the rights and liberties of it. If the plan succeed, of which I have no doubt, I am sure it will be a very productive and increasing fund, and the monies thus applied will be a beneficial institution. Well, in theory, that is definitely appreciated. I'm aware that my non-acceptance of these shares will have various motives ascribed to it, among which an ostentatious display of disinterestedness, perhaps the change of disrespect or slight of the favors of my country, may lead the van. But under a consciousness that my conduct herein is not influenced by considerations of this nature, and that I shall act more agreeably to my own feelings and more consistent with my early declarations, by declining to accept them, I shall not only hope for indulgence, but a favorable interpretation of my conduct. My friends, I persuade myself, will acquit me. The world, one, I hope, will judge charitably. Perceiving by the advertisement of messengers Cabell, Buchanan, and Southa that half the sum required by the account for opening and extending the navigation of James River is subscribed, and the 20th of next month appointed for the subscribers to meet at Richmond, I take the liberty of giving you a power to act for me on that occasion. I would, having the accomplishment of these navigations much at heart, having attended in person, but the President and Directors of the Potomac Company by their own appointment are to commence the survey of this river in the early part of next month, for which purpose I shall leave home tomorrow. I wasn't present. Besides which, if the ejectments which I have been obliged to bring from my land in Pennsylvania are to be tried at the September term, as Mr. Smith, my lawyer, conceived they would, and is to inform me, I shall find it necessary, I fear, to attend the trial. An intermediate journey, therefore, in addition to Richmond, would, impracticable for me to accomplish. I am, etc. He shooed me. He told me no. Let's go back and look at it. He told me no. Nah. Not that it matters. I mean, either way you look at it. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You can lie about it or don't lie about it. It does not make a bit of difference. To Noah Webster. Mount Vernon, July 30th, 1785. Sir, I received your letter of the 19th instant. Being convinced from the respectable characters whose names are prefixed to your grammatical institute, as well as from the cursory examination I have had in my power to bestow on the books of the judicious execution and usefulness of the work, it would give me pleasure if I could be instrumental in any degree towards the introduction of it to public notice. But I am a little at a loss from the purport of your letter to decide whether it is your desire that my name should appear amongst those who have already subscribed to the utility of the work, or by introducing its author to some of the first characters in the Southern States, under the favorable impression he has made upon me, to act more remotely. If the first is meant, I wish to decline it, because I have not leisure to examine the Institute with that attention which ought always to precede a certificate, and because I do not think myself a competent judge if I had. But if the other is your object, I shall have great pleasure in giving you letters of recommendation to some of the first gentlemen of my acquaintance in Charleston or elsewhere, being, sir, yours, etc. It's yours. To William Bailey. Georgetown, August 2nd, 1785. Sir, by a letter which I lately received from Mr. Stoddard, I am informed that you had agreed to supply my nephews, George and Lawrence Washington, with such articles from your store as their necessities might require, for which I thank you, and I have no doubt for your doing it upon good terms, the amount of which I hope will always be ready when called for. But I have to beg, sir, that they may not be indulged in any extravagance or with anything improper. Schoolboys of their size and growing should have decent but not expensive things. Their inclinations too often prompt them to the latter, which grows upon them in proportion as they are indulged, nor should they have pocket money given them unless the necessity is apparent and the application approved of. Any advance for dancing, French, and CA, which may be directed by the tutor, Mr. Bach, will be cheerfully repaid. I am, etc.
Yeah, that was not... I didn't hit that button at all. That's right.
Oh, he's talking about business
really,
expenses.
It's not. Oh, here they go. I promise you're
Getting into the depths, like taxes and stuff. You can't just spend the money on whatever you want. John Sedgwick, Falls of Shenandoah, August 8, 1785. Sir, in answer to your letter of this date, I think I may venture to assure you that no writ has issued by order or under mine. According to his diary, Washington left Mount Vernon early in the morning of August 1st, and after escorting Fanny Bassett to Alexandria, I proceeded to Dr. Stewart's, where I breakfasted. From thence to Georgetown to the annual meeting of the Potomac Company appointed to be held at that place. Dined at Shutter's Tavern and lodged at Mr. O'Neill's. Shooter's was John Sutter's Tavern, and Bernard O'Neill was one of the stockholders of the Potomac Company. On August 2nd, Washington left Georgetown about 10 o'clock a.m., dined at Thomas Bale's Mill, about 14 miles from Georgetown, and afterwards proceeded to Mr. Goldborough's at the head of Seneca Falls. From thence, he went on August 5th to Harper's Ferry by way of Frederick, Maryland. On August 6th, he was at Harper's Ferry, and on August 10th, he returned to Mount Vernon at about 9 o'clock in the morning. From the letterbook copy, that's how long it took him. He was at Harper's Ferry, so it took him 4 days to go from Fredericktown to the river by horse. That's a long time. Takes me 45 minutes. Quite a bit of a difference. 4 days? Camping out? That'd be an adventure, I feel like. Especially if that's what you were expecting.
A draft? He declined it?
See, nowadays my
there's a
car
draft.
breaks down. I'm getting mad, you know what I mean?
Spend it.
What luck? The expectation.
Ain't it
Think about that. Authority against the exors and security of your deceased father for the amount of bond passed by him to Colonel Taylor and myself as attorneys for Colonel George Mercer and his mortgages in England. The High Court of Chancery of this Commonwealth decreed, I do not at this moment recollect when, that the bonds and other papers which were in my possession relative to this business, as my situation did not admit of my acting, and as I had refused to do so, should be given up to John Mercer, Esquire, which was accordingly done. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely mine. Again, I could have wrote it, you know what I mean? I think it was mentioned. He mentioned it was changed, it was rewritten. It's not the original wording. So that's that's weird. If under this decree such of the bonds as were made payable to the attorneys aforesaid have been put in suit in my name, as the surviving attorney, I presume it is a matter of course. But how a bond, which you say has been discharged and not among the papers which were surrendered, should be under this predicament, I am not able to inform you. I am, etc. It's a matter of me going in there and beating their ass, I think is what it comes down to. With the bonds, I'm alive, bro. I appreciate it. Sedgwickville's right down the road, on the way to Fredericktown. He's literally giving a layout, like step by step, and then he shooed me and said no. Step by step, and you said no. It's my birthday. Look, 219, bro. Be real. And you shooed me? That's funny, dude. You know wording. I'm gonna write me one sentence, and it says Clayton D. Smith is the owner of this property, and I'm gonna put it right on Earth. I'm gonna slap it right here.
I feel that's appropriate too, if you look at it.
I'm gonna seize this property down here. Trying to flip it upside down, what he's doing. To Edmund Randolph, Mount Vernon, August 13th, 1785. Dear Sir, At the time your letter from the rocks was delivered to me, I had neither pen, ink, paper, or a table to write on it at command. Consequently, could only verbally acknowledge the receipt of it, which I did by Mr. Wormley. Since my return home, I have met your other favor of the 29th, all too. The great object for the accomplishment of which I wish to see the inland navigation of the rivers Potomac and James improved and extended is to connect the Western Territory with the Atlantic States. All others with me are secondary, though I am clearly of opinion that...
Hold up.
Okay, before we get into this, you want me to change some stuff? Will greatly increase our commerce and be an immense saving in the article of transportation and draft cattle to the planters and farmers who are in a situation to have the produce of their labor waterborne. These being my sentiments, I wish to see the undertaking progress equally in both rivers, and but for my local situation and numerous applications, my attention to each should be alike. What little I do for the advancement of the enterprise in this river is done, as it were, in passant, and because I think the difficulties greater than in the author, difficulties in greater than in the other, and not because I give up the preferences for both in my opinion have their advantages without much, if any, interference with each other. The advantages arising from my patronage of either is probably more ideal than real, but such as they are, I wish them to be brought equally distributed. My contribution to the work shall be the same. I have already subscribed 5 shares to the Potomac Navigation, and enclosed I give you a power to put my name down for 5 shares, so that of James River. With respect to acting as president to the board of directors for the company, it is a delicate subject for me to speak to every person who knows how much my time, by company and other matters, is occupied. Must also know that it would be impossible for me to discharge the duties of the office as they should be. Even here, where the business for the most part is and will continue to be done at Alexandria or Georgetown, 8 miles further from me, it was so evident to me that I could not perform the duties of president with the diligence and propriety which I thought necessary that I wished to decline it, but could not get excused. How much more would this be the case with James River, where the journey to it alone would be a work of time and labor? And besides, let it not be forgotten, my dear sir, that though some of the subscribers may wish to see me at the head of the board of directors, yet there may be others who would feel disappointed and hurt if they are overlooked, and this might have an influence on their connections. I mention these things to you with the candor and frankness of a friend, and under the rose after which your own judgment and those of your friends must dictate for the best. I am persuaded all of us have the same object in view, and whatever shall be deemed by the concurrent voice of the subscribers the best means to effect it shall meet by hearty approbation. Yeah, so the vibe that we're getting here, and I said it yesterday to my dad, and my mom just... But again, when you look, there's nobody there. That's incredibly awkward to me. It's a bubble that they're using. Kim. To the Sheriff of Hampshire County, Mount Vernon, August 15th, 1785. Sir, the enclosed came undercover to me. I send it to you and beg it may be executed and returned in time. No, sir. Captain Jacobs married the widow of Captain Michael Crasap, which, if it was a fact unknown to you before, is given as a clue by which you may come at the parties and serve the summons I am, etc. That's why you're getting destroyed and killed. No. Oh, you're summoning him? Okay. Definitely not. Marie. Thomas Jefferson, they just got married. August 15th, 1785. Thomas Jefferson and Marie Antoinette, I would believe. Congratulations. So we've approached you about this, and I will be seizing this property. Most definitely. You're being approached the right way, or I could do this the hard way. Seeing as you want to keep barking at me from a distance. He wanted me to go to Brahmin. That's a good timing for Brahmin. There they go. Go ahead and post this, hold on. See, there's this thing about it. We don't actually know who's behind the screen. You know, we have Batman. Samuel Clemens. Section 4, number 1. In the beginning, this universe was but the self, Viraj, of human form. He reflected and found nothing else but himself. He first uttered, I am he. Therefore he was called Aham. Aham. Hence, to this day, when a person is addressed, he first says, it is I. And then says the other name that he may have, because he was first and before this whole band of aspirants burnt all evils. Therefore he is called Puruza. He who knows thus indeed burns one who wants to be Viraj before him. The beginning of Persia, but he is called Persia. I think the octopus pushed him out, bro. It has been explained that one attains the status of Hirangarbha through a combination of meditation and rites. This same result is attained only through meditation on the vital force has only been stated in the passage. This certainly wins the world, etc. The present section is introduced in order to describe the excellent results of Vedic meditations and rites by setting forth the independence and other powers of Hiranyargapa, who is himself the result of his past actions, in the projection, maintenance, and dissolution of the universe. The meditations and rites that are prescribed in the ceremonial portion of the Vedas would thereby be extolled by implication. The import, however, is this. The sum total of these results of meditation and rites belongs to the relative world, for Viraj has been described as possessing fear, dissatisfaction, etc., has a body and organs, and consists of gross, differentiated, and transient objects. This prepares the ground for what follows, since the knowledge of Brahman alone, which is going to be described and can lead to liberation, for one who is not disgusted with things of the world, consisting of a variety of means and ends, is entitled to cultivate the knowledge of the unity of the self, as one who is not thirsty, has no use for a drink. Therefore, the delineation of the excellent results of meditation and rites is meant to introduce the succeeding portion. It will also be said later on, of all these, this self alone should be realized. This self is dearer than a son, and so on. In the beginning, before the manifestation of any other body, this universe of different bodies was but the self, was undifferentiated from the body of Viraj. Including the previous section of this book, the word used here is Prajapati, which means both Hirangarbha and Viraj. The subtle and gross forms, respectively, of the same being. Sankara often uses these two terms almost interchangeably. This would be borne in mind to avoid confusion. I haven't given much thought. The first embodied being born out of a cosmic egg, who is here meant by the word self. He is a product of Vedic meditations and rites, and this self was of human form, with a head, hands, etc. Viraj, he who was born first, rejected on who he was and with his features were, and found nothing else but himself, consisting of the body and organs. He found only himself, the self of all, and as he had been purified by Vedic knowledge in his past life, he first uttered, I am he, the Viraj who is the self of all. And because owing to his past impressions, he first declared himself as Aham. Therefore he was called Aham. But this is the name as given out by the Sruti. will be mentioned later. His secret name is Aham. Hence, because this happened with Faraj, the cause therefore to this day among men his effects when a person is addressed as, "Who are you?" He first says, "It is I," describes himself as identified with his cause, Viraj, and then says to one who inquires about his particular name, the other name, the name of his particular body, such as Devadatta or Yajnadatta, that he may have, as given to that particular body by his parents. And because he, Viraj, in his past incarnation, when he was an aspirant by an adequate practice of meditation and rites, was the first of those who wanted to attain the status of Viraj by the same method, and before this whole band of aspirants burned what? All evils, viz. Attachment and ignorance, which obstructed his attainment of the status of Viraj, because it was so. Therefore he is called Puruja, one who burnt first. As this Viraj became Puruja and Viraj by burning all the obstructing evils, so another person by the fire of his practice of meditation and rites, or by virtue of meditation alone, burns one who wants to be Viraj before him, this sage. The text points him out in the words, "Who knows thus?" It is implied that he has perfected himself in the practice of meditation. Objection. The desire to attain the status of Viraj must be dangerous if one is burnt by a sage possessing this knowledge. Reply. There is nothing wrong in it, for burning here means only the failure to attain the status of Viraj first, due to a deficiency in the practice of meditation. The man who uses the best means attains it first, and the man who is deficient in his means does not. This is spoken of as the former burning the latter. It is not that one who uses the best means actually burns the other. As in the world, when several people are having a running contest, the man first reaches the destination may be said to burn the others, as it were, for they are shorn of their strength, so it is the case here. In order to show that the results meant to be extolled here of meditation and rites enjoyed in the ceremony portion of the Vedas are not beyond on range of transmigratory existence. The text goes on, hold on. A publishing house. It would be the original publishing house? No, I'm not your slave. At all. Number 2. He was afraid. Therefore, people still are afraid to be alone. He thought, if there is nothing else but me, what am I afraid of? From that alone his fear was gone, for what it was there to fear? It is from a second entity that fear comes. He, Viraj, who has been presented at the first embodied being of human form, was afraid, just like I says the text, because this being with a human form possessing a body and organs was afraid, owing to a false notion about his extinction. Therefore, being similarly situated, people to this day are afraid to be alone. And the means of removing this false notion that causes the fear was, as in our case, the right knowledge of the self. He, Viraj, thought, if there is nothing else but me, no other entity but myself, to be my rival, what am I afraid of? For there is nothing to kill me. From that right knowledge of the self alone, Viraj's fear was clean gone. That fear of Viraj, being due to sheer ignorance, was inconsistent with the knowledge of the Supreme Self. This is what the text says. For what was there to fear? That is, why was he afraid, since there could be no fear when the truth was known? Because it is from a second entity that fear comes, and that entity is merely projected by ignorance. A second entity that is not perceived at all cannot certainly cause fear, for the Shruti says, then that delusion, and what grief can there be for one who says unity? That his fear was removed by the knowledge of unity was quite proper. Why? Because fear comes of a second unity, and the notion of a second entity was removed by the knowledge of unity. It was non-existent. Here is some object. What was Viraj's knowledge of unity due to? And who instructed him? If it came without any instruction, the same might also be true of us. If, however, it was due to the impressions of his past life, then the knowledge of unity would be useless. As Viraj's knowledge of unity acquired in his past life, although it was present, did not remove the cause of his bondage, ignorance, for being born with that ignorance he was afraid, so the knowledge of unity would be useless in the case of everybody. Should it be urged that the knowledge prevailing at the last moment only removes ignorance? Our answer is that it cannot be laid down as a rule. Since ignorance may appear again just as it did before, therefore we conclude that the knowledge of unity serves no useful purpose. Reply, not so, for as in the world, his knowledge sprang from his perfect birth. What is it to say as we see that when a person has been born with a select body and organs as a result of his past merits, he excels in knowledge, intelligence, and memory. Similarly, Viraj, having burnt all his vessels, which produced qualities the very opposite of righteousness, knowledge, dispassion, and lordship, had a perfected birth in which he was possessed of a pure body and organs. Hence he might well have knowledge of unity even without any instruction, as the Smith says. The Lord of the universe is born with these 4 virtues: infallible knowledge, dispassion, lordship, and righteousness. Objection. If he was born with these virtues, he could not have fear. Darkness never appears with the sun. Reply, not so, for the impression he is born with these virtues means that he is not instructed about them by others. They've put an attachment on me in the pipe system. They've attached somebody else's heartbeat to my heartbeat, so I have to feel their pain. It's like a little girl. So whenever she feels fear, you can feel it. It starts popping up in different, it's like random spots on the body. There she is. Yeah, it's on my eyeballs. That's where it starts. Oh yeah, there she is. She can remove it. They're not listening, so I don't know. Obviously, she's not the one who made it, so. Objection. In that case, qualities like faith, devotion, and prostration to the teacher cease to be the means of knowledge. The Gita, for instance, says, one who has faith and devotion and controls one's senses attains knowledge, and know it through prostration. There are other texts from the Srutis as well as Smiths which prescribe similar means for knowledge. Now, if knowledge is due to the merits of one's past life, as you say was the case with Viraj, then the above means becomes useless. Reply, no. For there may be differences as regards the means such as their alteration or combination, efficacy or inefficacy. We observe in life that effects are produced from various causes which may operate singly or in combination. Of these causes operating singly or in combination, some may be more efficacious than others. Let us take a single instance of an effect produced from various causes. Say, the perception of a form or color. In the case of animals that see in the dark, the connection of the eye with the object alone suffices, even without the help of light, to cause a perception. In the case of yogins, the mind alone is the cause of it. While with us, there is a combination of causes such as the connection of the eye with the object, and light, which again may vary according as it is sunlight or moonlight, and as on. Similarly, there would be differences due to that light being of a particular character, strong or feeble, and so on. Exactly in the same way with the knowledge of the unity of the self, sometimes the actions of one's past life are the cause, as in the case of Viraj. Sometimes it is a reflection, for the Sruti says, desire to know Brahman through reflection, the Tao. Sometimes faith and other things are the only causes of attaining knowledge. As we learn from such Sruti and Smith texts as the following, he only knows who has got a teacher. One who has faith attains knowledge. Know it through prostration. Knowledge received from the teacher alone is best. The self is to be realized through hearing, etc. For the above causes remove obstacles to knowledge such as demerit, and the hearing, reflection, and meditation on Vijnana text have a direct relation to Brahman, which is to be known, for they are naturally the causes to, that was a joke, for they are naturally the causes to evoke the knowledge of reality, when the evils, connected with the body and mind, that obstructed have been destroyed. Therefore faith, prostration, and the like never cease to be the means of knowledge. That was a joke, bro. He's talking about Wes. I just asked him about it, because I did his book. It's better than you, bro. Bro's better than bro. So I asked him, I was like, You didn't receive anything from anybody, or you didn't look at anything. He shooed me. He told me no. He shooed me. No, he looked me dead in the eye. He looked me dead in the eye and said, no, I wrote it. I was poor. He said I was poor and I wrote it. I was hungry. It's better than the Bible. as far as like me in the game. I'm with you though. He's talking about the ark. The eye. Thank you for this. I've been waiting. I've been wondering. Woo! So I would have no doubt the eye with what he's talking about is they blocked the wall of the sun, the shine of the sun. They found a way to block it and look inside it, or deeper into space, and it's me. It makes no sense. Solomon, you're up, bro. Broski. The bros. Where was I? 17. Yeah, I was a little past this. You know what? We'll start a new one. We're gonna do 18. Al-Kaf. Al-Kaf. So, number 18 of Quran, Al-Kaf. All praises for Allah, who has revealed the book of his servant, allowing no crookedness in it, making it perfectly upright, to warn the disbelievers of a severe torment from him, to give good news to the believers who do good, that they will have a fine reward, in which they will remain forever, and to warn those who claim Allah has offspring. They have no knowledge of this, nor did their forefathers. What a terrible claim that comes out of the mouth. They say nothing but lies. Yeah, whoever's behind that, I'm not interested in that. Now perhaps you, O Prophet, will grieve yourself to death over their denial, if they continue to disbelieve in this message. We have indeed made whatever is on earth as an adornment for it, in order to test which of them is best in deeds. And we will certainly reduce whatever is on it to barren ground. Have you, O Prophet, thought that the people of the cave and the plaque were the only wonders of our signs? Remember, when those youths took refuge in the cave and said, our Lord, grant us mercy from yourself and guide us rightly through our ordeal. So we caused them to fall into a dead sleep in the cave for many years. Then we raised them so we may show which of the two groups would make a better estimation of the length of their stay. We relate to you, O Prophet, their story and truth. They were youths who truly believed in their Lord, and we increased them in guidance. And we strengthened their hearts when they stood up and declared, our Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. We will never call upon any good God besides him, or we would truly be uttering an outrageous lie. Then they said to one another, these people of ours have taken gods besides him. Why do they not produce a clear proof of them? Who then does more wrong than those who fabricate lies against Allah? Alam. Aham. Since you have distanced yourself from them and what they worship besides Aham, take refuge in the cave. Your Lord will extend his mercy to you and accommodate you in your ordeal. And you have seen the sun as it rose, inclining away from their cave to the right, and as it set, declining away from them to the left, while they lay in its open space. That is one of the signs of Allah. Whoever Allah guides is truly guided, but whoever he leaves to stray, you will never find them for a guiding mentor. I do not. This is the only cave that I can think of. And this is all it shows. And you would have thought they were awake, though they were asleep. We turned them over to the right and left, while their dog stretched his forelegs at the entrance. Had you looked at them, you would have certainly fled away from them, filled with horror. And so we awakened them so that they might question one another. One of them exclaimed, how long have you remained asleep? Some replied, perhaps a day or part of a day. They said to one another, Your Lord knows best how long you have remained, so send one of you with these silver coins of yours to the city, and let him find which food is the purest, and then bring your provisions from it. Let him be exceptionally cautious, and do not let him give you away. For indeed, if they found out about you, they will stone you to death, or force you back into their faith, and then you will never succeed. That is how we cause them... Child, what are you doing? What are you telling yourself? This is a child. He's telling himself not to be seen. You're a sneaky one. For indeed, if they found out about you, they will stone you to death. That is how we cause them to be discovered, so that their people may know that Allah's promise of resurrection is true, and that there is no doubt about it, the hour. When the people disputed with each other about the case of the youth, after their death, some proposed to build a structure around them. Their Lord knows best about them. Those who prevailed in the matter said, we will surely build a place of worship over them. How did I come to be here? In this? Some will say they were 3, their dog was the 4th, while others will say they were 5, their dog was the 6th, only guessing blindly. And others will say they were 7, and their dog was the 8th. Say, O Prophet, my Lord knows best their exact number. Only a few people know as well, so do not argue about them except with sure knowledge, nor consult any of those who debate about them. The 12. And never say of anything, I will definitely do this tomorrow, without adding, if Allah so wills, but if you forget, then remember your Lord and say, I trust my Lord will guide me to what is more right than this. They remained in their cave for 300 years, adding 9. Say, O Prophet, say, O Prophet, Allah knows best how long they stayed with him. Alone is the knowledge of the unseen of the heavens and the earth. How perfectly he hears and sees. They have no guardian besides him, and he shares his command with no one. Recite what he has been revealed to you from the book of your Lord. None can change his words, nor can you find any refuge besides him. And patiently stick with those who call upon their Lord, morning and evening, seeking his pleasure. Do not let your eyes look beyond them, desiring the luxuries of this worldly life. And do not obey those whose hearts we have made heedless of our remembrance, who follow only their desires and whose state is total loss. And say, O Prophet, this is the truth from your Lord. Whoever wills, let them believe, and whoever wills, let them disbelieve. Surely we have prepared for the wrongdoers a fire whose walls will completely surround them. When they cry for aid, they will be aided with water like molten metal, which will burn their faces. What a horrible drink, and what a terrible place to rest. Yeah, don't drink the salt water. As far as those believe and do good, we certainly never deny the reward of those who are best in deeds. It is they who will have the gardens of eternity, with rivers flowing under their feet. There they will be adorned with bracelets of gold, and wear green garments of fine silk and rich brocade, reclining there on canopied couches. What a marvelous reward, and what a fabulous place to rest. Take a 5-minute break. Talk about that.
Yes, sir. That's pretty good.
We're here.
I feel like George was kind of steering me, like he was taking notes.
You
and
want to give it a
watching.
name other than the name they gave? What did you call it?
He had a goal in mind.
Ariel? This was Ariel? I'll go to David. What did David, what say you? Chapter 30 of Isaiah. Woe to the rebellious children. Yeah, I was going to say, what are you doing? Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For his princes were at Zone, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that would not profit them, nor be any help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. The burden of the beasts of the south, into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper, and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this, their strength is to sit still. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. That this is rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to his spirits, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto his right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophecy deceits, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it, sure to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. Cain and Abel. For thus said the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. But ye said, no, for we will flee upon horses. Therefore shall ye flee, and we will ride upon swift. Therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. No thank you. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5 shall ye flee, till ye be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain, and as an ensign on a hill. And therefore will the Lord wait, that he may be gracious unto you, and therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For the Lord is a God of judgment, blessed are all that they wait for him. No thank you. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem, thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. And thy ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left. Ye shall defile also the covering of the graven images of silver, and the ornament of thy molten images of gold. Thou shalt cast them away as a minstrous cloth. Thou shalt say unto it, get thee hence. Then shall he give the rain of thy seed, and thou shalt sow the ground withal, and bread of the increase of the earth, and it shall be fat and plenteous. In that day shall thy cattle feed in large pastures. The oxen likewise, and the young asses that ear the ground shall eat clean provender, which hath been winnowed with the shovel with the fan. And there shall be upon every high mountain, and upon every high hill, river and stream of water in the day of the great slaughter, when the towers fall. Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, as the light of 7 days, in the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people, and healeth the stroke of their wound. Behold, the name of the Lord cometh from afar, burning with his anger, and the burden thereof is heavy. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue as a devouring fire. And his breath as an overflowing stream shall reach to the midst of the neck, to sift the nations with the sieve of vanity. And there shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err. Ye shall have a song as in the night when a holy solemnity in gladness of heart, as when one goeth with pipe to come into the mountain of the Lord, to the mighty one of Israel. And the Lord shall cause glorious voice to be heard, and shall shew the lighting down of his arm, with the indignation of his anger, and with the flame of devouring fire, with scattering and tempests and hailstones. For through the voice of the Lord shall the Assyrian be beaten down, which smote with a rod. And in every place where the grounded staff shall pass, which the Lord shall lay upon him, it shall be with tabrets and harps, and in battles of shaking will he fight with it. For Tophet is ordained of old, yea, for the king it is prepared, he hath made it deep and large, the pile thereof is fire and much wood, the breath of the Lord like a stream of brimstone doth kindle it.
I'm sure he'd be working with the rods right now. I see. He probably has
This
me
is
like
the
sitting there
forge.
watching. You know what I mean?
Dude, this is like Lord of the Rings, bro. Dude, I'm in the forge right now. Get an overview. Hold on. Where was that one? There it is. So apparently there's an underground city here with crystals and emeralds and all kinds of stuff. David, this is amazing. I would assume this is just one hole, you know? And he also cut down trees, so it was probably not what it looked like. He's been compromised. We've got to escape, bro. Go, get out of there. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. You're talking like pre-moon.
What a buzzkill. I'm almost gonna walk out on that. That's a perfect setup. Trying to like discipline. That's how we do things. Truly, I mean what I say. Truly. Stop doing it.
I smile at that. That makes me smile. Go to Gramps real quick. Gramps, what do you have to say to Dad here? To Pops. Hold on.
I'm not kidding with you.
Balavago. Fools.
Stop doing that.
Fools cannot learn. A monk lives with the Buddha, but when questioned by visiting monks, it is found he does not know even the fundamentals of the teaching. Tell this to the Buddha. Even if a fool attends on a wise man for his whole life long, he does not learn Dhamma, just as spoon learns not the taste of curry. The fool who knows he's a fool. Two thieves go to listen to the Dhamma. One of them attains path and fruit, and the other manages to undo a knot in someone's clothes and steal some pennies. The fool who knows his foolishness is at least wise in that matter. The fool who's proud of his wisdom is said to be a fool indeed. Learning only hurts a fool. A young man learns the art of one stone throwing, but uses it to kill a Pakabuddha. He is reborn in a Vici hell, and later as a ghost who is constantly having his head crushed by 60,000 sledgehammers. Learning arises for a fool. Only to its disadvantage, it destroys the fool's good fortune. It will destroy his very head. Fame brings the unintelligent to ruin. A king, Devadatta, is jealous of his elephant, the Bodhisattva, and tries to have it fall to its death. The elephant leaves for another kingdom. When a foolish one achieves fame, it's not at all for his welfare. He enters on a path leading to harm for himself and others. Good done by the fool causes ruin. A king wants to enjoy himself at a festival and asks some monkeys to water his saplings. They agree, but not having much water will each one up at first to measure the water needed. All the trees die. Not with the unskillful do those who are skillful find happiness. The foolish one ruins what is good, just like the monkeys in the park.
Stay away.
Fools do more bad than good. A maid is asked by her mother to clear the mosquitoes from her body. She does so with a pestle, killing her mother at the same time. Worse than an intelligent foe is a fool who has compassion. Look at the servant Rohini. Having killed her mother, she grieved. Never seen a fool as best. The Bodhisattva is an ascetic who lives far from the haunts of men. When Sokka offers him a boon, this is part of what he asked for. May I not see or hear a fool. May I not reside with a fool. May I not hold talk with a fool, nor find any pleasure in him. The foolish one brings misfortune. Being quite irresponsible, the best he does is badly judged. He is angry when spoken to, and he does not know discipline. It is good not to meet with him. The truly wise man. Sokka asks the Bodhisattva who is the truly wise man. The one who can inquire deeply into things, who does not commit bad or cruel deeds, who does not neglect truth that is timely, such a person, they say, has great wisdom. Fools are noisy. The Buddha explains to Nalaka the things conducted to becoming a sage, one of which is not being talkative. What is empty makes a great noise. What is fool's quite indeed. The fool is like a pot half full. The wise one is like a full lake. Wisdom brings respect. A king makes fun of his elders, so Sokka, the Bodhisattva, makes fun of him to teach him a lesson. Geese and herons, and peacocks too, elephants and the spotted deer, all respect the lion, although they are different in many ways. Even so amongst men a boy is respected if he be wise, but though he is big in body, a fool is never respected. Wisdom is best say the good. When asked by Sokka what is the highest virtue, this was the Bodhisattva's reply. Wisdom is best, is what the skillful say. Even as the moon is best among stars, virtue, glory, mindful, and Dhamma, all are connected to those who are wise. He's talking about the signs. Need to remove those. I will do one more to Benjamin Ogle from George here. The boys in the group. I might have 5,000. I might to do a draft. It's a maybe. To Benjamin Ogle, Mount Vernon, August 17th, 1785. Sir, the enclosed for Mr. Hold on, Benj. Before we get started, I have another one we can do. I didn't even plan on that, so. Dude, that was frustrating, dude. It's like if you have the ball in a basketball game and they get up on you and you have to get your shoulders around. Bruh, but it's like torture, though. You can feel it in the room, like. I tried to put the mic away from me so I wouldn't just burst out. Real, very real. Dulaney did not come to my hands, being from home, until Sunday last. I thank you for your obliging offer of 2 or 3 fawns, but presuming the season is now too far advanced either to catch or gentle them, I will not send before I hear further from you on this subject. If it is too late to attain them this year, I would thank you for the like number next spring, by which time I shall have a proper enclosure for them and for the deer of this country, of which I am also endeavoring to procure a stock to breed from. With compliments to Mrs. Ogle, I have the honor, etc. From the letter book copy in the Washington papers. To Clement Biddle, Mount Vernon, August 17th, 1785. Dear Sir, your letter of the 8th came safely by last post. I will, the first time I go to Alexandria, get an order from Colonel Ho, Mr. Hartshorn, or some other who has dealings in Philadelphia. For I have none, and I know of no direct and safe opportunity of sending money, to the amount of the sum which you have lately paid on my account to Mr. Smith. The enclosed is to Edward, I do not know this surname, who formerly lived with Mr. R. Morris, but now I am informed keeps the city tavern, to see if he can instrumental in procuring me a housekeeper. I beg you be so obliging as to direct, deliver, and consult him on the contents of the letter, which is left upon for your perusal, and return me an answer, as soon as possible. The man who at present lives with me in the capacity of a housekeeper, and is a very good one, is bound for the port of matrimony, and will, after 4 or 5 weeks, which he has agreed to stay, leave me in a very disagreeable situation, if I cannot get supplied in the meanwhile. I give him £25, this curry, per ann, and a suit of clothes, which cannot be less than £7 more these, with the difference of exchange, will be equal to about 40 Pennsylvania currency. This sum I am willing to give to a man or woman. The former I would prefer, of good character, and I really knowing and competent to my purposes. I have seen an advertisement in some of the Philadelphia papers of an office for this kind of business, but however good it may be as a channel for inquiry, I would not depend upon it, without other testimonials respecting the character and abilities of an applicant for the final adoption. Mrs. Washington joins me in best wishes for yourself and Mrs. Biddle and family. I am, etc. P.S. Since writing the foregoing, I have met with and now enclose you a banknote for $30, which please to receive and carry to my credit. H.S.P. Hospice. Cincinnati, China. The yen stocks, yen stocks. The China bull, 3 times shares. Two Tiananmen Square, Mount Vernon, August 17, 1785. Dear Sir, the Baltimore Advertiser of the 12th Institute announces the arrival of a ship at that port immediately from China, and by an advertisement in the same paper. I perceive that the cargo is to be sold at public vendue on the 1st of October next. At what prices the enumerated articles will sell, or the terms proposed, can only be known from the experiment. But if the quantity at market is great, and they should sell as goods have sold at vendue, bargains may be expected. I therefore take the liberty of requesting the favor of you, in that case, to purchase the several things contained in the enclosed list. You will readily perceive, my dear sir, my purchasing or not depends entirely upon the prices. If great bargains are to be had, I would supply myself agreeably to that list. If the prices do not fall below a cheap retail sale, I would decline them altogether, or take such articles only, if cheaper than common, as are marked in the margin of the invoice. Before October, if none of these goods are previously sold, and if the matter will be ascertained thereby, you will be able to form a judgment of the prices they will be commanded at vendue. Upon information of which, I will deposit money in your hands to comply with the terms of the sale. Since I began this letter, I have been informed that good Indian nankins are selling the dumb fries, not far from me, at 7/6 a pence. This curry. But if my memory has not failed me, I used to import them before the war for about 5 sterling, if so through 50 per count. It's a small advance upon India goods, through a British channel, which the duties and accumulated charges thereon. Yet, would not 7/6 be a high price for nankins brought immediately from India, exempted from such duties and charges? If this is a conjecture founded in fairness, it will give my ideas of the prices of other articles from the country, and be a government for your conduct therein at or before the day appointed for the public venue. With the highest esteem and regard, I am, etc. The stocks. So stocks. I'll do this again though. I went through this with my dad, and I'm just guessing here. I do not know. This is just off the top of my head, off me winging it. A whim. So the way the stocks work, so you start the business, and once it gets to a certain point, you want to I forgot the term they use, the private. I'm gonna have to research. Hold on. Anyway, I'm not gonna... Damn it. They offer it to the public once they reach a certain point. So that business has a pool of money. So that's where the stocks will start, right? So it'll start at $1 as soon as it starts. A public offer. So as soon as they offer it to the public, it is $1. Once people start buying into it, that pool increases, and that's where the dollar increases. It allows the citizens to come in, and it's the Commonwealth, where the citizens are basically the owners of the businesses, and are able to come in, and whoever owns the most in the stocks would be a part of the board, or whatever it may be. But essentially, you can see how the business is doing and where the money is going through the stocks. So once that stock is established, you know, look at the pool of money. When the stocks raise and lower, you can see where the money is flowing and how it is flowing, and if the business is making moves or not. So one of the things a business can do, so like nowadays, new inventions, or like a restaurant or something. So the restaurant has stocks, but the stocks aren't really going down. Like it's pretty stagnant. So what they'll do is they'll come out with some like research or something, and they'll spend a bunch of money on the research, and it'll lower the stock value, and so then it'll lure new investors. But because it's a recycling center, but because they're doing research, they're actually coming out with new product. That's the thing. I mean, it may be bullshit, but it's still new product and it'll sell. And so once they lure new investors, they get the money of the new investors. But on top of that, because they came out with new product, they're increasing their profits on top of luring new investors. It's basically creating a hole. So the hill is basically creating a hole for the investors to come in. As you can see the scale right here, the dips, the hills. Those dips would be the holes with the spending, where they're spending a bunch of money for new investors. And so the increase would be the new investors. And you can see how well the new invention has done, and what they have researched, and how well they're increasing, expanding. It's a really good well, especially like technology. If stocks are increasing in technology, it means they're excelling in technology. Because I mean, let's be honest, nowadays, like everybody has, you know, most people I know have stuff. As far as that, as computers and tablets and what they need. Exchange. And it's visible, like I said. You can see the graph here. Again. To Thomas Rideout, Mount Vernon, August 20th, 1785. Sir, by the return of the brig, I was favored with your letter of the 1st of May, with several cases of wine and a box of sundries, which came to hand in good order, and I presume are of good quality. As the wine which you sent to others is, I am informed, much esteemed, my own I have not tasted. I am obliged to you for sending these things. The amount shall be paid to Colonel Geo Fitzgerald in a short time. I appreciate you. For your care of the enclosed letter, I will thank you. The one under a blank cover, I shall be obliged to you for giving the proper address of the father of Baron de Montesquieu, from whom I received a letter, but under such a signature as leaves me at a loss how to direct my answer to him. If my letter to the Baron is like to subvert the purpose for which it was intended, it will give me pleasure. The small packages which the Marquis de Lafayette intended to send by your brig must, I presume, have miscarried between Paris and Bordeaux, as his letters to me speak positively as to their being sent from the former place. I am, etc. I appreciate you. I caught that. Yeah, they're strong-arming me. We're not talking about... That's not what he's talking about.
Okay.
I'll get you to... I'll start cussing here in a second. I'll get too deep into that. Let's ride out. I'll do one from David, and we'll get on out of here. Close it on out. We're getting close to the New Testament.
Get Betty Davis in
But
there.
again, there are so many books, so many writings. I have like 10 from George. I thank you. So we found out this is Zion. I didn't even mention that. This is Zion underneath here. A kiss. Chapter 31 of Isaiah. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he also is wise, and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men, and not God, and their horses flesh, and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is holpen shall fall down. And they all shall fail together, for thus hath the Lord spoken unto me. Like as a lion and the young lion roaring on his prey, when a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him. He will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion, and for the hill thereof. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also he will deliver it, and passing over he will preserve it. Turn ye unto him from whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. For in that day every man shall cast away his idols of silver, and his idols of gold, which were your own hands have made unto you for a sin. Then shall the Assyrian fall with the sword, not of a mighty man, and the sword not of a mean man, shall devour him. But he shall flee from the sword, and his young men shall be discomforted. And he shall pass over to his stronghold for fear, and his princes shall be afraid. To the Ensign, saith the Lord, whose fire is in Zion, and his furnace in Jerusalem. I don't know where the caves are, so I'm over here pointing. I have no clue what I'm pointing at. Chapter 32. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall be hearkened. The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerers shall be ready to speak plainly. Clayton Dale Smith. Clayton Dale Smith? Clayton Dale Smith. The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. Christopher! Cease and desist now. You're talking about a crime against humanity. Get out. The fact that I have to be here in this situation, I don't even know you. That hologram, that's where it was. I get it. The evilest. You can tell it's a hologram because of the whiplash. It's physical. It's basically like... Okay, I'll stop there. What he did, so whenever you go into the building, the windows in the building create a shadow. There's two different shades of light coming in at you in your eyeball. So when you leave the building, like it's like milk. You know, like diabetes, whenever you give the dog diabetes, it fills up his eyes with the white. So whenever you're going into that building, it does the same thing, but you can't see it. It's just it's like the rings of Saturn. It's an underlying level. So whenever you drive through this one spot, it's taken the shade of light. They have timed it. They have done the math. Good for you on math. Cool, bro. Because I need to do that, let me tell you. So they've done the math there. So whenever you leave the building and drive down that road, when you hit that spot, it's perfect to where it'll empty the light out of your eyeball. But it's more like it's like a bullet. I mean, there were multiple instances of the exact same thing happening. Like peripherals. It's a peripheral thing. This is what you did, motherfucker. It's a peripheral thing. He jerked it. And it was the lights on the building. But I mean, I can see where it was coming from. If you were to survey that spot, the gas tanks in that new gas station by the veterans home, the well, it would be shooting down into it. I mean, it's the only explanation. Because the light needs a landing pad and that well's there. There's no technically there's no landing pad, quote unquote. That was a mistake, dude. You will be dealt with. You're talking about some. Furthermore, the light is like 3D. The windows, they created a 3D pattern to where it's like a stain in your eye. So Clayton Dale Smith here will be putting you in your place, bitch. Christopher.
Okay, we'll stop there.
We'll stop there. Yeah, I don't know why I'm blaming you, but that's where it was. That's it though. That's the end of it as far as the reading goes. I'll finish this game out. This is pretty good. We'll do a double feature, George. I hope I'm doing all right. You hinted at a judgment call there, so I won't put your name on it. Even though there was some guidance there, I'll be honest. I need to get rid of that 5-7s when I need to do. That's what I was going for on this. 6. I'm not gonna give up the ox. Is that a joke? I almost want to do that flash. Dude, I'm gonna do it. I'm risking it all. No? He tried throwing away the ox, really? I don't know what to say. Take a 5-minute breather on that one. That was a hard one. Those little Thopters had me. I was worried about drawing out too on 11. I was worried about this guy. Eat some Mama's chili here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm shaking. That was a good game. Great game. I had those tokens is what it was. That's all I was worried about. I mean, I would have taken them all out in one swoop, but still, like, he was blocking my way, and he had death touch, and he was milling that 11, dude. He took it down. Thank you, George. Thank you, congregation. David, Solomon. It's hard to... already see it coming. Here's where I start getting mad and throwing stuff. Say the moon, stop, now. She thinks she's going Super Saiyan or something. You have no idea, dude. Stop doing that. That just pissed me off, to be honest with you. They literally come in. You have they hold you down and they have, see right there the red carpet. Thank you. That's all I needed to say. Red carpet. You have to pause everything you're doing, roll out the red carpet so you can lay down. A little sliver in this section over here, Ghost. It's a long one. We've won 2 out of 3 though, so that'll do on that. This last one will be off the record. Again, thank you guys.